Welcome to Let's Talk About Real Estate, the podcast for real estate agents everywhere. You are now part of a group of real estate agents and entrepreneurs who want to make a difference in their lives. People who are looking for ways to create hacks into the real estate profession in order to make more sales and at the same time have more time off. Agents are realizing that the old ways simply aren't working for them anymore. They are working far too many hours and most don't enjoy a work-life balance. Get ready to explore ways to hack your real estate life. I'm Lisa B. Hi, on today's show, I have for your radio interview I did recently with Dr. Geraldine Teggelove. Geraldine has a radio show and podcast dedicated to helping others redefine, reinvent, and rebuild a happy and successful life. Geraldine interviewed me recently about book publishing and marketing. If you're thinking of writing a book or getting a book published, you really need to listen to this. I will include all of Geraldine's contact information in the written details of this podcast, so please enjoy.
Hello everyone and welcome to Geraldine Teggelove Live. Yes, I'm Geraldine and I am so looking forward to sharing some more fabulous information and hints and tips and anything else that may help you becoming a published author and enjoying the process. Yes, over the last few weeks, I've been chatting with some wonderful and highly successful authors, I might say, and asking them to share with us all their secrets around writing and publishing. Believe me, if you haven't had a chance to listen to the previous shows in this series called Publishing 101, and you're, thinking about writing, then may I urge you to do so. Because if you want to step out with your published book in hand, the information that you get from these gorgeous ladies is just amazing. So, woohoo! Just imagine how you will feel when your book becomes a reality. Now, obviously, there are ways of doing this that will be perfect for you. Often, though, it's figuring out what this perfect way looks like. And it's by listening to others that we can actually make informed choices and decisions. And the authors that I am chatting with during this series are sharing the most fantastic information, believe me, and being totally open and honest, pardon me, and sharing with us what worked and what didn't. And to me, it only makes sense that if we're going to go to all the effort of writing and publishing our unique book, then we need to gather as much of this information as we possibly can before we start the process. So, everyone, I am so excited because my guest today is the highly successful author, Lisa B. Now, let me tell you a little about this wonderful lady. Lisa is a coach on demand. She's a speaker, trainer, and serial entrepreneur who has owned numerous businesses since 1995. Lisa is also a mum, so she knows and understands the pressure that today's world places on women and their relationships, both at work and in their day-to-day lives. Now, Lisa's had a varied career combining her two passions. Yes, two. One is her long career in real estate, and the other is her passion that she studied simultaneously and lived through, which is the topic of masculine and feminine energy, which is really big in today's world. She's written a number of books and created online products. So might I suggest that we are in for a fabulous show today. So without further ado, as they say, welcome, Lisa.
Thank you very much. I'm so happy to be here. This is a topic I love speaking about, books and products and business. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it is my pleasure, Lisa. And you are sitting in sunny Brisbane, is that right?
On the Gold Coast, and it is sunny and it's 13 degrees. We're not used to that here.
Oh my goodness, Lisa, I feel so sorry for you when we're sitting in 6 degrees here.
Oh, no. Well, 2 days ago it was 20 something, so it's a shock to it. But we only get it for like about 6 weeks or something, so we're very lucky. The weather's used to it.
That's great. Yes. Well, we'll just kind of, suffer on.
Oh, no.
Look, it's where we choose to live, so we have to put up with the consequences, don't we?
That's right, exactly.
So, Lisa, we have got, look, I've got so many things to talk with you about today, and I hope you're ready for it, and you've had your Wheat Bix for breakfast, because I've got so many questions for you. I hope you don't mind.
No, I'm ready. And like you said, I really want to share what has really worked for me, but also what hasn't, because like I did so much research, before I published my books and everything, and so many things were conflicting, and you really don't know what the right thing is to do. So, I really want to share my experiences, both good and the things that I learnt.
That is just fantastic, Lisa. That's exactly what I want to hear, because and look, what might be right for some may not be right for others, but I know today you are going to get the most amazing gems from Lisa that you can, take with you, and really when you're contemplating all of this, you can make informed decisions. So, Lisa, could you start by sharing with our listeners some of the books that you've published, a little bit about those, so that we can get an idea of where you're coming from, please?
Sure, for sure. The first book that I was in was a compilation book, and that was my background is real estate. So that was a compilation book that somebody else put together that I was invited to join. So that was sort of other successful real estate agents. And that was a really good base, and it gave me a good understanding of what being an author was. Also just seeing your name on the front cover of a book, and just, it was such a great feeling. Like, it was like, wow, I finally got a book. So it was one that was called Real Estate Millionaire. And that was one that I thought, once I did that, I thought I really want a book in my own name now. So I actually wrote a book 10 years prior, and that was about the masculine and feminine energy, and that's called Banish the Bitch and Bring Out the Babe. So that was one.
Love the title, Lisa. Yeah, it says it all.
It does. Well, I was very fortunate to have a lot to do with Tony Robbins, and I joined his Platinum Partners program, which was a very intimate program of 50 people, and we traveled the world for a year, and I think I spent 145 days of the year traveling, going to his seminars and all this sort of thing, and it was amazing. And so that's where I was introduced to the topic of masculine and feminine energy. And it really made me question everything about me, because I was so business focused. I had my real estate office and, 10 staff, and I was only focused on work and nothing else. That was it. And really sort of understood how I was in my masculine energy, and I couldn't switch off. I didn't have any balance. And I thought, if I kept this going like the way that I am now, I'm going to end up having a heart attack. So I really investigated that and lived through that, and wrote my book as I was, making my transition, if you like, from learning about masculine energy to how to tap back into my feminine energy and how to have balance in my life again. So that was something that, and that's what writing a book, I think, does as well. When you're writing down words and you think this is going to be published and other people are going to read these words, it has to be right. You sort of just can't make offhanded statements. You write a sentence and you go, well, actually, is that right? It gets you to really question things and really learn so much more about yourself and other people, and asking questions. So it really is part of the healing process, isn't it? Oh, it is. It is. And when I went to publish that book, I bought about probably 10 books on self-publishing, because I thought, I really want to self-publish. I don't want to get a publisher. I want to self-publish. I want to learn how to do this. And I bought all these books, and it just looked too hard. And I put the book away for 10 years because it just looked too hard. Seriously, I just thought, I just don't even know where to go with this. I don't know what to do. And it just too hard. And I mean, these days it's so much easier. It's just you can upload it yourself online. You can, have print on demand and all those sorts of things. But I was just overwhelmed. And, and I think that's what helped me being in the compilation book, or just seeing that it isn't as hard as what you make it out to be. And that was kind of a blockage. And that's something I'd like to say to people. If you have got a book, just go, just do it. Don't wait like I did for 10 years and put it aside. And it was only that somebody went to another Tony Robbins seminar and started talking about masculine and feminine energy. And I said, well, I actually wrote a book on that. And they said, oh, wow, I'd love to read it. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll dig it up. And I started reading. I went, this is really good. And then
I love it, yes.
Yeah, and then that inspired me to get it out there again. And so, I'm really glad that they made those comments. Otherwise, it probably would still be in the back of my computer somewhere. So,
and probably the great part about a topic like that, Lisa, is that, truth is truth. It doesn't matter what time we live in, there is still that masculine and feminine energy.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And as I said, I was so focused and so in my head about everything that I didn't let anyone in or anything. It was awful. And so, it was just really understanding the balance and to understand that I can switch off and just be present where I am. So that was a really, sort of amazing realization for me. And I went to get books on the subject and I couldn't find anything that would help me. And that's why I knew I had to write my book.
Yes.
Because there's nothing out there for me that would teach me what I needed to know. So that was my biggest drive, to just think, I can teach other women about this, get my message out there.
Fantastic, Lisa. And that book, we are coming into break in a minute or so, Lisa, but that book went really well, didn't it?
Oh, yes, fantastic. Better than I thought. And I'll go into that a little bit later if you like. But
yes, I'd love that. Yeah.
Yeah, it went better than I thought, and I probably should have done other things with it, which I can go into.
Yeah.
The next book that I did was one for my son, actually. And that was a book where my mother actually wrote the book, his grandmother, and I did a book for them together.
And I'll let you in on a little secret. Lisa is absolutely brilliant at marketing. We'll continue our discussion around Lisa's way of publishing, and I'm sure what she'll share will be absolutely helpful and wonderful for you. And I'm sure you can already tell that Lisa certainly has the experience and the know-how to help you overcome any obstacles that you might have standing between you and publishing your very own book. So, Lisa, I'd love now to get your advice on No, hang on. Let's go back. I'm jumping ahead of myself here, Lisa. I'd still like to hear. Yeah, I'd love to hear about your because you wrote a book with your son, and then you had another book, I think, didn't you? So
yes.
Yeah, let's hear about those.
Okay, so I'll go quickly. When my mother wrote a book for my nieces and nephews, and she died about 12 years ago. And on her deathbed, I promised her that I would publish her book for her. When I published my Banish the Bitch and Bring Out the Babe, my son said, "Can I write a book?" And I went, "That's a great idea. Yes, I've got just the book for you." So he contributed to the pictures, he was with me with the design process and all that sort of thing. So now he has a published book with my mum. So he can call himself a published author at 10.
Wow, what an experience. That's fabulous.
Great. Because if he says to me, "Mum, I want to buy this," I go, "Well, how many books have you sold? Go out there and buy some books." So I'm trying to teach him as a business as well that he can make money whenever he wants to. He's got a product there. He's got a website, and he can do the marketing on YouTube. He can do whatever he likes. So sort of teaching him about business at the same time, which has been great. And it's just a legacy, and it's something that, he never got to meet his grandparents. So that's something that now connects him to his grandmother, which, sort of, it makes me really cry every time I think about it. But, it's just such a lovely thing for them to have. Yeah. Then the next book is one that I'm just about to launch, and that's called Secret Agents. And that's about real estate agents and their online marketing, which, as you said before, I just love marketing. And that's what I'm really, really good at. It's something that's sort of has come natural to me in lots of ways, but it's something that I've studied a lot as well. So Secret Agents is going to be launched really soon. And that particular book there is going to be more a lead into my business, which is the Hotline business, which is the coach on demand. So I coach real estate agents on demand. They can ring me. They can email me if they've got objections or anything like that in their real estate field. And I help them through those objections. So this book is more like a lead into my other business. It's not like something that I want to, a book that I'm going to act, which I can go into that later, which is not my main business. It's a lead into my business. So, yeah.
And I think that's a great way of looking at your book because, being able to use that book as your calling card or your business card, or as Lisa says, a lead in to the other part of your business gives you so much credibility. So that's fabulous. But Lisa, yes, we will go into that a little later. But before we get to your marketing, which I can't wait to hear myself, because when they were handing out marketing skills, Lisa, I think they missed me in the lineup, most definitely.
I can help you.
Oh, good. That's great. So, but I'd love to hear from you, though, before we get to that, a little bit about your own personal experiences in the world of publishing and what worked and what didn't. So perhaps if we start there.
Sure. I don't have any sort of negative experiences with publishing. I've really just got learnings. I've got things that I thought, oh, wow, I probably should have done that a little bit different. But I mean, that's the way you learn, is sort of.
Yes, most definitely.
Or listening to others who have done, who have acknowledged that. But so, yeah, I mean, having a book is just such an amazing achievement, and it's something that you look back and you think, wow, I've got this book and people, acknowledge you for that. And I just think it's something that I'd love to see everybody write a book. Everybody's got a story, it's whether it's about their work, their business, their life. I just think it's such an amazing thing to do. But I only ever have self-published, and that's only because I'm probably not lazy. I wouldn't say lazy, probably impatient is what I'd call myself. Because if you want to get your book published, that involves, if I was going to get a book published, I would get an agent. I would get somebody who was going to go in and fight for me to publish and all that sort of thing. But I was too impatient because I just wanted to get it out there and I wanted to get on to the next thing. And, so
I'm with you there, Lisa, definitely with you on that one. Yes.
Yeah. And the other thing is you don't know if your book's going to be successful. You really don't. And it's like not until you've actually published it or you get people to read it and you get proper feedback that you think, oh, actually, this would have probably gone well with a publisher. It's like, they say a comedian who tells a joke and then has to wait 2 years to see if it's funny. That's like writing a book. You write a book and you've got to wait all this time to see if anybody likes it. And that's something that you don't know until you get it out there. So, probably if I wasn't so impatient, I would have loved to have got an agent for my Banish the Bitch book. I would have, sort of really focused on that, but I didn't want to make the time to do that. I wish I could have. And for people out there that have got a great book, you believe in it, people have read it, then it's worth taking the time to do that. I was just too impatient to get it out there.
Yeah.
And
a lot really depends, I think, Lisa, and I'm not sure if you think this way too, but a lot depends on what you want really for your book. Do you want the book to be standalone and successful, or do you want it to be part of a bigger picture, I guess?
Exactly, and that was my next thing. With Banish, I would have, if I'd have taken the, if I could have taken the time, if I had been more patient, that's something I would have done. But for my next book, Secret Agents, no, I'm not. I don't have any intention of wanting to get that with a publisher. I think that is merely just a lead into my business, which is, a business card. It's my, my introduction. It's my values. It's my information that when real estate agents read it, they're going to want to know more. And then I've got my online courses. I've got my coaching. I've got all of those other things that I can provide and help them with. That is my lead in. So it's really two different types of books and two different things, it's just completely different.
Yes, understand completely. And so I guess you followed your own rules and and all that sort of thing as you went through it. Yes.
Well, I did. Yeah, and with my marketing and all that sort of thing too. And what some of the things that didn't work for me was Fiverr, the website Fiverr, where you can get. Yeah. So when I first went to do my book, I got a mock-up cover on Fiverr, and it was hideous, and I persisted, and it was just hideous, and I just didn't like any of them, and I thought, this is ridiculous, and I ended up getting a professional to do the book cover, which, your book covers everything, and also the internal of your book. I went to do it on Fiverr, and it was just like a bad Word document. And you want to present your book as lovely as you can. And my books, I'm just so proud of how the lady that I ended up getting has presented it. And it's just beautiful. You open up the book and it's just lovely. It's just so much more attractive than a Word document, and that's what I would have had if I'd have gone with the Fiverr option. And I mean, I'm sure there are good ones on Fiverr, but I just think don't skimp on the quality of your book, and don't skimp on the on the cover and the layout. It's got to be good. It's got to be attractive. So,
and you're presenting this as, this is really representing you in the world of business or in the professional world. So I completely understand, Lisa, if you pick up something, you want it to really be a reflection of you. So most definitely.
Absolutely. Then the other things that I learned was about publishing the books itself. So I've got my books on Ingram Sparks, which is print on demand. So you can order your books in bulk. You can order 100 copies or 500 copies, or people can go on, you can order one at a time. So that was something I preferred to have control of. There are some people that publish books and they can get a really cheap price, say in China or something, and they can get it like, a couple of dollars a book, and it's a lot cheaper, but you have to buy in bulk. Say you might have to get 1,000 books, and they're in your bedroom until you sell them. You might get a cheaper deal at the time. But so many times, I've changed my book already so many times. I've put a sentence in there that I thought, oh no, I want to take that one out. I've got the capability and the control of doing that with the way that I've got it now on Ingram Sparks and Amazon. There's something I want to change. I can change the cover now. I can change whatever I want to. And it's not, I don't think, oh, well, I've got, 1,000 books in my back bedroom that are now wrong. It's something that you can change, you can adjust, you can add to it. And I found that a lot better to me, even though it might cost a little bit more. It's something you've got more control.
Yeah, and look, I know, having had a bit to do with publishing houses and things, for me that was the defining moment that I wanted this book to be me, not just fitting into a certain genre that the publishing house decided would be best. So I totally see where you're coming from, Lisa, to be able to have that control and do with your book what you want to do and change things up or change things around is wonderful. I'd really like to know about marketing because, so many marketing companies out there offer you the world and then end up giving you nothing, basically, and I'm being honest here. So really interested to hear from the best in the business about how to go about marketing. If you have just joined us, this is the 5th show in this series called Publishing 101. And today, international best-selling author Lisa B. is sharing her expertise with us, and what fabulous information it is. And I think I mentioned on last week's show that I would have given anything to have had other authors tell me what worked and what didn't before I stepped into the publishing arena. Now, if you'd also, would like to, if you find this information extremely helpful, I should say, and if you'd like to listen to the complete show and lots of others, then you can download them for free from iTunes. Just search Geraldine Teggelove Live under podcasts, or you can come here to toginet.com and listen and download from my show page. And you can also find them on my website at Geraldine Teggelove, and Teggelove is spelled TEGGELOVE.com. So lots of places where you can go back and listen to what certain authors have told you. Now, Lisa, we've got some, big things to get into here, but so I don't forget, because, I get carried away here on these interviews sometimes, I'd love to know, Lisa, where we can actually find your books and where we can find you. Have you got particular places that you could give to us now? Yeah.
Sure. There's one website which is www.lisab.com.au.
That's not a hard one, except for the AU on the end, everyone. Australia, yes. We have .com.au. Sorry, Lisa. Yeah.
That's all right. And probably a good one to follow me on is Instagram as well, because then for people that are looking at marketing their books, because I'm just about to launch a book, say in the next, hopefully, week or two, just to see what I do there and how I go about doing it on Instagram. I find Instagram really good as far as that goes, and then I'll explain what I do with that. But my Instagram account is Lisa B, and then it's _ the real estate hotline, then _ again. So that would be one that they can get some real life examples from.
Oh, fantastic, Lisa. That sounds wonderful. And I will put that in on my show page and on my website, everyone. So if you haven't got your pen handy, you'll be able to find them. And the website is an easy one, lisab.com, and don't forget the .au. So, Lisa, let's get into the whole marketing side of things and how you went about all of that.
Okay. All right. Well, I repurpose everything. So everything I do, I think of another way that I can put it out there, whether it's a blog post, whether it's a video, whether it's whatever it is. If I've got one piece of content, where can I put that on 10 different avenues, or where can I use that one piece of content 10 times? So that's what I'm always looking at. I don't just do one thing and then put it away or whatever. It's how can I compile it? If I do a video, I'll do a compilation video. So I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but it's using all of the avenues for you. So I have a podcast, so I can have all of my content on the podcast. So I'm speaking to people, or if I do interviews, or I'm just doing a tutorial or something, I've got the podcast. From that podcast, I can do a transcript of it, which becomes a blog post, which becomes a post on my social media channels, so for one podcast, I'm looking how I can put that in many different ways. So the podcast, I also make a video. So one podcast, I've now got into 4 different mediums, and then I can put those on all of the different things, like, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, my website, everything. So the podcast is one where it's a great thing to repurpose into many different ways. So that's one thing, is a podcast. So then obviously you've got the book, which is your marketing and telling people you've got the book and putting photos everywhere of your book and the hype on Facebook about your book coming up and, getting interaction and asking people what cover looks best, A, B or C, getting people interested in and knowing that your book is coming out. So that's a good thing as well. So then, as I said, your blog. So you're promoting yourself through your blog. You're promoting your book through your blog. So that's, whichever way you want to do that. You've got the blog there, then you've got the videos, so YouTube videos. So
can I interrupt there, please, Lisa? When you say your YouTube videos, so are you talking about the book, or are you explaining what the book's about? What are you doing there?
Anything. So as I said, from the podcast, I make a video from the podcast. So it could just be tutorials. It could be anything. It could be something that you've mentioned in the book. It could be information. It could be advertisements for the book. It could be, I've got so many different kinds of videos. A friend of mine wrote a song, and so now I've got like a song that's like my book's song.
Yes.
So now I've got a dedicated song for my book. So, that's one of my videos as well. And then you've got your website, which you're promoting your book all through your website. So you've got, and with your book, you can have your opt-in on your website. You can do like either offer a free audio book as an opt-in so that you're collecting your list.
Yes.
So there's lots of things you can do that, or you can offer 2 or 3 free chapters of your book as an opt-in, so that again you're collecting a list of people that you can then market to. If they haven't bought your book, you can sort of market to them about different things you're doing, or if you're upselling to something else. And then say Instagram, you've got photos and memes and things like that you can do, because it's not always about just promoting your book. You don't want to be going out there just my book.
Yes, yeah.
People are going to get sick of you and unsubscribe. So it's also about giving information and giving content and showing them who you are, and just getting the like, know and trust factor from people. Is a massive thing as well. So it's not always just about the book. So it's about things that you're doing that they can relate to. It's about, as I said, just teaching them something. And
it is a lot about creating that trust, isn't it? Because people these days, they want to be able to trust you before they will buy from you or connect to you.
Big time, because, the online world is you don't know who's genuine and who's not. That's, it's an awful thing to say, but it is. It's like, who is really doing what they're saying they're doing? And it's, if you're following someone, and sometimes I'll follow somebody for 12 months before I really think, actually these people are somebody that I want to learn from, and I want to buy their product. It might take you that long to really build the trust of somebody. So, I think it's important to show people, who you are and what your beliefs are, as well as your products. And then social media is just amazing for promoting your book, from Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. I try not to go, sort of to spread myself too thin on those mediums, because otherwise you can be a master of none.
I was going to say, do you follow the advice of sticking to one or two big time and really, see what works for you, which ones work best for you? Is that what you do, Lisa?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I find my Facebook is something, I've got Facebook groups which I just love. So they're sort of like a private real estate group, which I just love that. It's sort of very interactive and get a lot of comments and all that sort of thing, and questions, and that's amazing. I really love that. And just my personal Facebook page as well. I have a lot of real estate agents that I connect with there, because my main focus is real estate with my business. So my personal Facebook page is something that does get me a lot of clients, because people get to see, just get to see what you like and relate to you and things like that.
Yes.
LinkedIn I don't use a lot, even though I do have a lot of followers and I do get a lot of business from there. I don't post a lot on it, but I have got my profile on there, and sort of a lot about myself, which people then will look up. It's like a resume. I treat LinkedIn a little bit like a resume, but if you're doing business to business, a lot of people do really love LinkedIn.
Yes, yeah.
Twitter I don't do a lot. But what I put on my Facebook page goes automatically onto Twitter. So I've got a presence on there, but it's not something that I focus on.
Yeah.
Instagram, I absolutely love Instagram, and I do get a lot of business from Instagram as well. So my two favourites are Facebook and Instagram, and that's what works for me.
And if they'd stop changing all their algorithms, Lisa, it would make it a lot easier, wouldn't it?
Oh, I know. And that's why Instagram is great now. So get in and use it and
Yes.
before they do change the algorithms again. Because, Facebook, I had a Facebook page which went really well, and I got a lot of interaction and whatever, and one day it just switched off. It was like Facebook, unless you were buying ads and you were buying this and you were buying that, it just sort of, it just went off. And, so then I started a group, which is a Facebook group, which is really working for me. It's really, really working for me. So,
I guess you're testing out things to see what is going to work best for you. Is that right, Lisa?
Yes, for sure. I found because my market is or my clients are real estate agents, we talk about problems that we've had in real estate and, with clients or, getting deals together or, whatever it may be. So it's it needed to be in a group because they're not going to share something like that on a public page. And so, if you're dealing with something where people are not going to want to share publicly, then maybe a group might be a better option. And that's what I found. I tried really hard with my pages and to get interaction. And I was thinking, why isn't this going as well as what I thought? And then click. It's really something that the groups work for me a lot better. So it's sort of identifying what you're doing and your market and what they're comfortable with and what they're comfortable sharing. And then sort of, just working what works and what doesn't. If it's not working, there's got to be a reason.
Lisa, I'd love you if you have more information around this. It would be fantastic. I mean to say, what would life be like if we didn't have books to read? Well, I don't know about you or Lisa, but for me, I'm sure I couldn't survive. It just wouldn't happen. All that, wonderful information and inspiration and everything else that I couldn't lay my hands on, and the learnings that would never take place. I really just don't even want to think about it. I'm sure you'll agree, Lisa, wouldn't you?
Oh, for sure. It becomes, like they say, it's like a university on wheels. With say audio books. That's my university on wheels. My books.
Yes.
I find Audible just amazing. Like it just, being busy, I want to read and I don't get the time a lot, to sort of read a physical book. And so for me, the Audible books are just amazing. And when I do get the chance to sit down and read a book, I just love it. I mean, there's nothing like reading a physical book, but Jesus.
So
amazing.
have you turned your book into an Audible book yet, Lisa?
I haven't done Audible only because apparently Australians were not allowed to have Audible yet. So
okay.
It's something where I've looked into it to have somebody else read it out for me on Audible. It has to be an American citizen with an American bank account and all that sort of thing. So I've actually read my book out. I've read my book out and I've got it as an audio, but I've just got it on my website, housed on my website. So on my website, people can opt in to get my audio book free. And that's as I said, that's one of my lead-ins. So I have got it. I haven't done it perfect, but, it's like, I'm not going to let perfect get in the way of getting it done. I just wanted to have my audio book there and it's there. And I'll look at upgrading that later and whatever. It was just sort of, I wanted to have that there if people are busy and they can't read a physical book like I sort of,
Yes. And that's why I love podcasting because you can listen to it no matter where you are, and you can be driving along in the car, and I travel some fairly big distances, and it's just so fabulous to have it. So everyone, remember, Lisa has told you a number of times, you can go to her website and opt in to listen to her book. So I think I'll be doing that as well. It's such a fabulous offer, Lisa. So
Well, in saying that, my book is all about how to position yourself as the expert. Now, it is tailored to real estate agents, but it really is for any business. So anybody listening to this will actually get a lot out of that book, because it's marketing 101. It's everything from social media to video marketing to it's everything marketing. The book is actually marketing.
So, Lisa, I'm just stunned. You are offering this for free on your website, and because that was going to be one of my questions. Is your book, what you offer in your book, can we kind of transpose that into any other business that we might be running? And obviously we can.
Yes. I read a book about 25 years ago, and it's called Benchmarking. And it was a book about about business strategies and sort of like, just sort of looking at businesses like your own, and then looking at what they're doing, looking at what you're doing, and can you put any of their procedures into your business instead? And that was something I did, and I was in real estate, and I looked at a travel agent. I thought, well, it's kind of a little bit similar, not really, but kind of. I sort of looked at some of the procedures they did, and it really made me look at my business and business models in general. So that was my first experience of really looking at business models. And that was something when I studied internet marketing, and I spent a fortune on online courses on the best online marketers, and, read books and did everything with the vision of, how can I apply this into real estate? So I watched what Frank Kern did with his clients and thought, okay, how can a real estate agent do this with their clients? How can a real estate agent do what they're doing, to make it successful? And so I had a real estate office at the time. And so I did all of those things. I did the opt-ins, I did the free books, I did the video marketing, I did everything that the online marketers were doing that was successful, and put it into my real estate office. And then real estate agents started ringing me and saying, oh, how do you do this? And how do you do that? And why did you do this? And so then I thought, well, wow, I've got to create an online product. I've got to write a book. There's a market here, because people don't know how to do this. What I've sort of taken as for granted in lots of ways, but I've also learnt it, is, how can I put this step-by-step process? And so my book is actually, it's like a checklist. It's got boxes in there that you can check off, that you can go, yes, I've done this, or you can come back and do it later. It explains what to do, explains why to do it, and then, as I said, you can check it off. So it really is, it's everything. It's everything I know about marketing, and you can put that into your own business, as far as taking it and running with it and saying, okay, well, I've got my book. How do I then, or whatever their business is, how can I take that and cross it over into my business? And that's a question we should always be asking. If a business is successful, what can I do in my business to make my business just as successful as theirs?
And that is just fantastic, Lisa. And I understand completely. It's to be able to take all that information and just put it into your own business. And regardless of what business you're in, there will definitely be 90% of what Lisa is explaining to you and teaching you in her book that you can bring into your own business. So my suggestion is that you whiz by. Remember, it's www.lisab.com.au and have a look at that book. Now, Lisa, time is just ticking down. But what I'd love to know,
Geraldine, this goes so quick.
It does. But when girls get together to chat, time goes fairly quickly anyway, doesn't it?
It does. It does. But
So,
something. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go on. No, go on, please.
I was just going to say, some of the things that I would like to say to people is, as I said, I waited 10 years to publish my book, and I just can't believe that I put it away for that long and did nothing with it. So I just like to say, just get it back out. If you put a book away, get it back out again. Have a look at it, make some changes and adjust and whatever. If you haven't written a book, a big tip that I can give is Google Docs. So that's how I've written all of my books. I've just got a Google, your Google app and Google Documents, and I just opened up a document. It's on my phone. It's also synced, obviously, with your computer. And I came up with my title. I've got my title page on my Google Docs. I separated into chapters. So I'd have like chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. I worked out kind of the flow of the book of what I wanted to say. Like, obviously, you have your introduction, you have your, just the different lead-ins of how your book is going to be organized. So write those headings at the front of the chapter. And then wherever you are, you can start to write your book. Like, my son does karate, and for 5 hours a week he's at karate, and I'm watching him. So I would get onto my phone and start writing my book while I'm watching my son play karate. Or, I'm waiting for an appointment and somebody's 10 minutes late. I can just go in and write my book. It's not like I have to go, and that's, you don't get writer's block that way. You're actually, you're just sort of just organizing as you go. And the great thing about Google Docs as well, you can actually talk into it. So you can do speech to text. So you can just set it up, press a button, and you can just talk. And the book writes it for, Google Docs writes it for you. So you don't even have to type. And that
technology is just amazing, isn't it? I mean, many things that we can do. So there's no excuse, really, is what you're saying, Liz.
And the other thing is, I'll just tell you quickly another little tip. When you do a podcast or you do a video, if you replay that podcast or video into Google Docs, set it up that it's doing voice to text, you automatically get a transcript because you play it in and it recognizes the voice and it will type it out for you. You might have to make a few little changes, but you can do your own transcript. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
It is so fantastic. Like, otherwise you've got to sit there, you listen to a word, you've got to type it out, and then you stop your tape, and then you've got to type it out a little bit more. And, you play your tape, you type it out a little bit more. You just play your video onto your Google Docs, and it just types it all out as your transcript. Like, it's just amazing. Yeah, it's just amazing. But, just create a Google Doc, start writing, and you might see something else that gives you inspiration, something that you can write about, or a link to a website that somebody tells you about that's similar to your book. Put it in there, put everything in that document. And then, you can go back and research and it's just such a great way of doing it. Like, I just absolutely love Google Docs. I do everything on Google Docs. And it's just so easy to find. Everything's so easy to find. You can put photos in there. You can put all sorts of different things in there. And that is your book. That's your focus when you log on that Google.
Yes. And I love the idea that you can do all of that when you're out and about, or you've got a spare few minutes. And so often inspiration comes, or ideas come to us at the most inconvenient times, so we can actually, go in or even just record it on your phone. I quite often do that too. Just press record on my phone and I'm chatting away, and people just think you're on the phone, so that's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now, Lisa, it's
everybody's.
time.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. No, I was going to say it's time for us to finish the show. I'm sorry. We're counting down here. So, Lisa, I want to thank you so much for being with us today. It has been just fantastic, and, so much information in such a short time. So I really appreciate your time, effort, and energy for being here. So thank you.
Thank you. That just went so quick. I can't believe it.
Oh, well, time goes fast when you're having fun.
Absolutely.
But everyone, please don't forget you can visit me here at TogiNet or on my show page, Geraldine Teggelove Live, for recording of this week's show. And I will be getting it out there so you won't miss it. In the meantime, a million blessings of happiness, love, peace, and wonderful success as an author. I'll get it out in a minute. And bye for now. Bye, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us at Let's Talk About Real Estate. I'm Lisa B from the Real Estate Hotline. I hope you found plenty of ideas to hack your real estate career. For more information, please go to www.therealestatehotline.com.au and please join our Facebook page at Let's Talk About Real Estate. See you next week. Bye.